Let's start this today's session. In the last session, okay, we have solved some part of this problem. Okay, so let me just recap that what we have taken in the last session. Okay, so this was a problem given. Okay, we have this what you can say, a bar with our which are having two cross section. This is one cross section and this is one cross section. Okay, and you have some force which is applied at a distance 150 mm. Okay, and that force it is 300 kilonewton. So based on the criteria, for this there is different cross section. For this is different cross section. So we have formed two elements. But in addition to that, we have force which is applied at this particular point. So when you bring this point down, okay, so this element again gets splits into two elements. So as a result of this, we are getting three elements. Then we have this element stiffness matrices for bar under axial load, which is given by AE by L, 1 minus 1 minus 1 1 U1 U2 F1 F2. Right, this particular term it is called as element stiffness matrix. This has to be multiplied by displacement is given by force. Right, now let us write down this element stiffness matrix for every element. So when you write down for element number 1, area of element number 1, E of element number 1, length of element number 1. Right, so this term it is coming to be 333.33. When you multiply this term 333.33 inside a bracket, you will get this matrices. Right, you'll get this matrices. So now once you got these matrices, you need to assign the rows and columns to the matrices. Okay, so if you talk about element number 1, it is between node 1 and 2. So I'm writing 1 2 1 2. Let us go for element stiffness matrices for element number 2. Okay, so this area of element number 2, E of element number 2, and length of element number 2. And this term it is again coming 333.33. So when you multiply it by matrices, okay, you will get a same matrix as like which you're getting for element number 1, right? But element number 2, it is between 2 3. So we need to write down 2 3 2 3. Same we will do it for stiffness matrix of element number 3, right? So area of element number 3, E of element number 3, and L, length of element number 3, you need to multiply it by this matrices. So this term was coming to be 266.66. When you multiply it to a matrices, you will get these matrices, right? So if you talk about element number 3, it is between 3 4. So it is between 3 4 3 4. That is what I have written, right? Now see, if you talk about element stiffness matrix 1, this is for element number 1, this is for element number 2, this is for element number 3. Okay, but we want a single matrix which will govern for entire system. Okay, we have written for this term, we have written for this term, we have written for this term, but we want a single matrix that will govern for the entire domain, right, or systems. So in that case, okay, when we need to write down that matrix it is called as global stiffness matrix. So global stiffness matrix will govern for your entire problem. Element stiffness matrix is going to deal for individual element, right? Now see, as it is a matrix, okay, we need to determine its size. And how we are going to determine its size? Size of the matrix will be determined by number of rows multiplied by number of columns, right? So size of the global stiffness matrix will depends upon only two terms. First is how many number of nodes you have for a total problem, and each node can move in how many directions. Okay, that is nothing but called as degree of freedom. So if you can see in this problem, there are four nodes, and as you apply the force in x direction, so obviously each node can move in x direction. See, when you apply the force here, what happened? See, node 1 is fixed, so it will remain at its own location. So node 2, which is here, when you apply some force, it got shifted to new position. That position I will call it as 2 dash. Okay, so node 2 is going to shift to new position, that is 2 dash, because you have applied the force in right hand side or in the right direction. So the node 2 gets shift to right hand side, right? So that is 2 dash. Okay, so at the same time, node 3, which is here, is again going to get shift on the right hand side, that is 3 dash. What is about node 4? It is going to remain at same location. So node 1 and node 4, they're going to remain at same location. They're not going to move. That's why the displacement at node 1 and displacement at node 4 is 0, because they are fixed. What is about node 2 and 3? They're going to displace. Okay, it will depends upon in which direction you applied the force, and what is the magnitude of force, right? whether it is tensile, whether it is compressive. Again, it will depends upon the direction of the load, right? So there are 4 nodes, each node can move in one direction. So we are getting that term as a 4 term, right? So what is the size of the global stiffness matrix? 4 rows multiplied by 4 columns. Okay. Now see, we have this. Now we have determined the size of the global stiffness matrices. So we should have 4 rows. These are the 4 columns and these are the 4 rows. So I make this matrix. Okay, now what I done basically is I just pick this term. Okay, I just pick this term, I place it here, right? I just pick this term, place it here, right? I just pick this term, place it here. Okay, so this is how I got global stiffness matrix. Pick this element stiffness matrix and put it in a global stiffness matrix. That is what is done. 1 2 1 2. So you can see this 1 2 1 2, right? Then second matrix 2 3 2 3, right? This is 2 3. This is 2 3, right? Then 3 4 3 4, right? This is 3 4 3 4. So that is what is reached. Now we have a global stiffness matrix. When you multiply it by displacement, it will given by force, right? So this is a matrix I've written, global stiffness matrix, same matrix I've written, multiplied by displacement will be given by force, right? Now we are interested to solve this equation. We want to solve this equation, right? So when we want to solve this equation, before solving the equation, you try to impose boundary conditions. Okay, so see, what is the purpose of the boundary condition? The boundary conditions are necessary to sustain the structure in the atmosphere, right? See, if this is not fixed at this point, okay, if you're not going to fix this bar, okay, at any one of the end, either on a left hand side or at a right hand side, how you want to apply the force then? You can't apply the force by keeping this bar in the air. Okay, so that is nothing but the significance of boundary condition. Okay, so see what you have done. U1 is 0 and U4 is 0, right? Why U1 is 0? Because it is fixed. So node 1 cannot move in any direction. Why U4 is 0? Because again it is fixed. So that U4 can't move in any direction. Okay, so U1 is 0, U4 is 0. Now try to understand. When any displacement gets 0, right, what happens is that particular row and that particular column gets cancelled. So U1 is 0, that's why first row, first column is 0. U4 is 0, that's why fourth row and fourth column is 0. Is that okay? This has been covered till last lecture. Is that okay? Let me know. Is that okay? Is that okay or not? Let me know. Is that okay?
So why did you cancel that outer rows and columns of the matrix?
Yeah. See, you can see the U1 is 0, right? Node 1 can't move in any direction. Similarly, U4 is 0. That why the fourth node can't move in any direction? Because this node 1, it is a connection between fixed support and the element number 1. Okay, node 1, it is a connection between fixed support and element number 1. Okay, so that cannot move in any direction. That means it is basically fixed. Similarly, node 4, what is node 4? It is a connection between element number 3 and fixed support. Okay, so it is fixed, so it can't move in any direction. That's why U1 and U4 is 0. Now see, if any one of this, okay, variable U1, U2, U3, any one of the variable it gets 0, then what happens is that row and that particular column gets cancelled. This is basically called as the Gauss elimination method, right? That particular one, that particular column gets cancelled. So U1 is 0, that's why first row, first column is 0. U4 is 0, fourth row, fourth column is 0, right? Now see, we are interested to calculate what is the value of U2 and U3. For getting the value of U2 and U3, we should know what is F2 and we should know what is F3, right? See, U1 and U4 is 0. Obviously, what we need to calculate? We need to calculate U2 and U3. We want U2 and U3. So for calculating U2 and U3, we want to put the value of F2 and F3, right? We want to put the value of F2 and F3. So if you can see here in this diagram, okay, F2, you can see this is the node 2. So at node 2, what is the force applied? That is 30 kilonewton, 300 kilonewton. At node 2, what is the force applied? 300 kilonewton. So that is going towards right hand side. Okay. So force applied at node 2, that is basically F2. What is F2? Force applied at node 2. And what is the force applied at node 2? It is 300 kilonewton. So I'll write down this as a 300. Okay, 300. Because it is going towards right hand side. If it is going towards left hand side, I need to write down as minus 300, right? Minus 300. It is going towards the right hand side. That's why I'm taking these as a plus. Now next go to F3, force applied at node 3. So what is the force applied at node 3? Is there any force applied at node 3 here at this particular point? No, right? So that force is 0. No force is applied at node 3. Okay, is that okay? So now see, our idea is to solve this equation. We need to solve this equation. We have two equations with two unknowns. Try to understand. We have two equations with two unknowns, right? Then how we are going to solve this one, right? Obviously what we'll do, we will start, we need to solve this in a calculator, right? So we'll solve this. Okay? We'll solve this in a calculator, right? We'll solve this in a calculator. How to solve? Okay, we need to go to mode. Okay, and we need to solve this basically equations. We need to solve the equations, right? We have the equations with two equations with two unknown, right? We have two equations with two unknown. Okay, so I'll go to, see, you can see here. Can you see this equation? ANX plus BNY plus CN. ANX plus BNY is equal to CN. So that is solve the system's equation to unknowns. So that I will click. Solve the system equations to unknown. Okay. So that I will click. So once I click that, okay, it will allow me to enter those values. It will allow me to enter those values. Okay. So what I'll do, I will start entering the values now. We'll start entering the values now. Okay. So try to understand these values. What is there? So I need to put this value 666. Okay. So this is A1, B1, C1, A2, B2, C2, like that. I need to put these values. So I'll put those values there. Okay. So this is 666.66, right? 666.66 minus 333.33, right? Then 300. Then 300 I will put. Okay. Then I will put minus 333.33. Okay. Then 599.99. Okay. And then 0. And then 0. Okay. So these values I have put, right? And now I will solve it, right? I will solve it. So I will get this value as U2. Okay. So when you solve it, you will get this value as U2, right? Okay, so can you check this value? What you are getting? U2 value of U2, which we are getting, is 0.62. 0.62. Okay, 0.6231. 0.6231 mm. Okay. Similarly, we are getting U3. Similarly, we are getting U3. Okay, I will again click on equal to sign. So I will get this value as 0.3461 mm. 0.3461 mm. Is that okay? All of you? Is that okay? Basically, we need to solve it. Basically, say this values I put A1, B1, C1, A2, B2, C2, right? So when you solve this in a calculator, you will get these values. Is that okay? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now see, we have calculated displacements now. We have U2, we have U3, right? Now see, the point where displacement is 0, at that point you will get reaction. You can see in the diagram. Okay, you can see this is a fixed support, this is again fixed support. What is the meaning of fixed support? Okay, displacements are 0. At the fixed support, displacements are 0. So obviously, at the fixed support, you will get reactions. So reactions, what do you mean by reactions? They're opposite to the actions, right? So when you apply 300 kilonewton, in order to balance that 300 kilonewton, okay, that 300 kilonewton will be get balanced at this end and at this end. It might be 100 at this end, it might be 200 at this end. It might be 150, it might be 150 here, right? So this is how it will be get balanced. Okay, somehow. And that we are supposed to determine what is the, in order to balance this 300 kilonewton, what amount of reaction it is generated at this free end and at this free end, that we are supposed to determine. So let's do that. So how to calculate those reaction? So the point where displacement is 0, Okay, that is U1 is 0. So we'll get reaction F1. The point where displacement is 0, that is U4 is 0. That's why we'll get reaction F4, right? So how to do that? So if I need to calculate the value of F1, I need to multiply first row to this column. Try to understand. First row, this column. First row, this column is equal to F1. So let's do that. So how to do that? See how I do that. 333, try to understand. 333.33. See, this is 333.33 into U1. I will write down into U1. Okay. 333.33 into U1. Okay. This is 333.33 into U1. Then plus I have this term, right? Plus this term, right? So that is minus 333.33. Try to understand. Minus 333.33 into U2, right? Into U2 plus 0 into U3. Try to understand. Plus 0 into U3 plus 0 into U4 plus 0 into U4, right? Is equal to F1. Is equal to F1. Is that okay, all of you? So you know how to multiply it. Multiply it. Row and column, right? This is row. This is to be multiplied by column. So 333.33 into U1 plus minus 333.33 into U2 plus 0 into U3 plus 0 into U4. That is what is written. Is that okay? All of you have you understand this step? All of you?
Yes,
You
sir.
understood this step? Now see, I'm writing this detail because this is the first column which we are taking, right? Afterwards, I will not write down this step. I will directly see this is 0. So no need to take this into this because this is already 0. Similarly, no need to take this into this. This is already 0. This into this. So in the next column, I will going to write down it directly. Okay. So let's put this value. So 333.33 into U1, it is already written as 0. So in the next column, I will not write down this term because I know that this is 0, right? Next. Plus I will write down minus 333.33 into U2. U2, value of U2 we have calculated. That is 0.6231. Okay. 0.6231. This is U2, right? This is 0. This is 0 is equal to F1, right? Is equal to F1. And what is the value of F1? So this is F1, right? So is equal to F1. I will write down F1 because F1 we need to determine, right? So can you tell me what is the value of F1 we are getting? Do and let me know what value of F1 we are getting. Simple. What value of F1 we are getting? Can you tell? Minus 333.33. Okay. Into 0.6231. All of you just do the calculation along with me. Minus 333.33 into 0.6231. Can you tell me what answer you are getting? Minus 333.33 into 0.6231, right? What answer we are getting? Minus 206. Minus 207.
0.31.
I'm getting these are 670.
0.6979.
सर गलत डाले ना आपने.
Okay, this I'm getting these as a kilo. Is that okay? See, there might be variation in the answer. Some variation you will get, and that is allowed. Okay, need not to worry about. Some variation it is allowed. Is that okay? Okay, this we have done it with F1. Similarly, we need to do it for F4 because U4 is 0. We will get reaction as F4, right? So this row multiplied by this column, right? This row multiplied by this column. How I'll do? 0 into U1. I will write down still. I'll write down 0 into U1. See, this 0 into U1, okay, plus this 0 into U2, 0 into U2, right? Plus this minus 266.66 into U3. I'll write down minus 266.66 into U3. See, minus 266.66 into U3 plus this 266.66 into U4 is equal to F4. Right? Try to understand. I will repeat again. See, 0 into U1, right? 0 into U1 plus 0 into U2, right? Plus minus 266.66 into U3 plus 266.66 into U4. Is that okay? This is what is the region, right? So now let's put the values. 0 into U1, see U1 it is 0 only. 0 into U1 is 0. This term 0 into U2 it is 0 only, right? Then this is minus 266.66 into U3. U3. See, this is the value, right? This is 0.3461. This is U3 plus this 266.66
Minus 92 as the
U4.
answer.
U4 is 0 only, right? 0 is equal to F4 is equal to F4, right? Now let's calculate. So this is 0. This is again 0. So what we will get? Minus 266.66. Try to calculate, all of you. Minus
Minus
266.
92.29.
Okay, can you tell me? Minus 266.66 into 0.3461. Okay, how much you are getting? Minus 92 point somewhat getting, right? You are getting minus 92 point some value, right? Okay, so let's take that. So F4 is equal to minus 92 point how much? 29, right? 29. Is that okay? All of you, is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Right. So we have this F1, we have F4. Now see, the very basic step which you are supposed to understand is how to check that whatever the values of displacements that you got are correct. See, so see, this is the advantage in FEA you will get. Whatever the answer that you are getting, you will get tallied, okay, during the solution only. Okay, so we need to tally the answer, that whatever the answer which we have got, it's a correct value, right? So for that, what we'll do is we'll apply the condition of equilibrium. Okay, and that condition of equilibrium is given by summation of forces in x direction. We are going to calculate. Okay, we are going to calculate the summation of forces in x direction. Okay, so we see which are the forces in x direction, because here we have the forces only in x direction, that is F1, F2, F3, F4, right? So F1 plus F2 plus F3 plus F4, right? So these are the forces which are applied in x direction. You see, in addition to the x direction, if we have the forces in y direction, so we need to do it separately. That is summation of forces in y direction, right? So we have the forces, you can see here, we have the force applied only in x direction. That's why we are taking the summation of forces in x direction only, right? So let's do that. So let's calculate that value, how much we are getting. So F1, force F1, what value we got? Minus 207.70. This is F1, right? F1 plus F2. This is applied. See, F1, this is a reaction which we got. F2, this is the force which we applied at node 2, that we applied as a 300. You can see in the problem, force applied at node 2, it is 300 which is applied. See, at node 1 we are getting reaction, at node 2 we are applied the force, at node 3 no force is applied. Okay, so that we are taken as 0 value, plus what is the force? Okay, F4 again, at point number 4 we got reaction, that is F4, right? So how much we got? It is minus 92.29, right? Minus 92.29. So all of you can you just do this addition?
0.01.
0.4.
I think it will come at 0.01 only. 0.018.
Yes, sir.
Right? So see, you can check it. This will be approximately equal to 0. Is that okay? 0.01, it is approximately equal to 0. Is that okay? Are you agree with this one? So when your summation of forces, it is coming as a 0, that means what are the values of displacement that you got are correct, right? See, why it is correct? Because see, if you can see the summation of forces in which you have the forces F1 and F4, you have the forces F1 and F4. So if you see these forces F1 and F4, they will depend upon displacements. Forces will depend upon displacement. And if your summation of the forces is 0, that means your displacements are correct. Is that okay? Is that okay? All of you? All of you, is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay, okay, no problem. See, the next step, the next step after this is, now see what they're asking. They're asking to calculate displacement, find the displacements, right? So displacement we have got. These displacements are U2 and U3, which you got. Find the displacement, stresses and strain, right? Stresses and strain they're asking, right? Stress and strain they're asking, right? So what we'll do, so see, we will start now with the strain. We'll start now with the strain. Now, right? Now, see how to calculate strain. How to calculate strain. Right. So let's start. Okay, you can directly calculate stress also without calculating the strain. Okay, the relationship between stress and strain is, okay, E is given by stress by strain. I will go into the detail of that. That is not an issue. Okay. So if they're asking separately strain, we will initially calculate strain and then we will calculate stress. That is not a problem, right? So see, all of you, what is the formula for strain? Formula for strain, it is given by change in length upon original length, right? This is the formula for strain, the change in length upon original length, which you already studied in the SOM, strength of material, right? Now see, if I need to calculate strain, within the element number 1, try to understand. If I need to calculate the strain, what is the strain induced in element number 1? Okay, let me come back here on this diagram. If I need to calculate what is the strain induced in the element number 1, I need to calculate what is the strain induced in element number 1. So you can see element number 1, it is between two nodes, node 1 and node 2. Okay, element number 1, it is between two nodes, node 1 and node 2. Okay, each node will have two displacement, right? See, you can see element number 1, it is between node 1 and 2. Okay, node 2 will have displacement U2, right? Node 1 will have displacement U1. Okay, so that will give U2 minus U1 will give me change in length. Try to understand. Okay, see, strain induced in element number 1, it is given by change in length upon original length. So how you will calculate change in length in element number 1? What is the change in length in element number 1? It is given by, okay, element number 1, it is between two node 1 and 2. Node 2 will have displacement U2. Node 1 will have displacement U1. So that will, the difference between U2 and U1 will give me the change in length upon original length. Okay, so what is the original length of the element number 1? I will write down that as L. Is that okay? Is that okay with this one? Right? So let's put the values now. Let's put the values now, right? See here, U2. What is the value of U2 that we got? U2 we have got it as 0.6231, right? Try to understand. U2, it is 0.6231 that we got, right? Minus U1. U1, see U1, it's a displacement at node 1, and that we have taken as a 0 because it is fixed. We can see here U1 is 0. U1 is 0. That I written. U2 we have calculated. U1 it is 0 because it is fixed upon length of element number 1. Okay, you can see here. What is the length of element number 1? It is 150. Okay, length of, you can see length of element number 1, it is 150. So that I will enter upon 150. Okay, so now you tell me how much you are getting.
4.154
How much?
into 10 raised to minus 3.
Can you repeat?
4.154 into 10 raised to minus 3.
Minus 3. What is the unit for strain? What is the unit for strain? What will be the unit for strain? Can you tell me? What should be the unit for strain? See, basic, what is strain? It is change in length upon original length. So this is again length, this is again length, length gets cancelled. It's a unitless value. Is that okay? Right? Now let's calculate what is the strain induced in element number 2. Let's calculate what is the strain induced in element number 2. Okay, now go back to the diagram. Okay, just see this diagram, all of you. The element number 2, it is between 2 and 3. Okay, so it is U3 minus U2. Try to understand. Element number 2, it is between node 2 and 3. Okay, so node 3 will have displacement U3. Node 2 will have displacement U2. Okay, so U3 minus U2 will give me the change in length in element number 2 upon element number 2. Is that okay? Okay, yes or no? So let's put that value. What is U3 we have? U3 we have it at 0. U3 we have it as 0.3461. This is U3 minus U2. See, this is U3 minus U2 is 0.6231. 0.6231 upon L2, length of the element number 2. It is, you can see, length of element number 2. It is same as length of element number 1. That is 150. So let's put that. That is 150. So let's see how much we're getting. Let's see how much we're getting. So do your calculations properly.
Minus 1.847 into 10 raised to
How
minus
much?
3.
Minus
Minus 1.847 into 10 raised to minus 3.
into 10 raised to minus 3. So this is a strain induced in element number 2. Right. Similar exercise we need to repeat for strain induced in element number 3. What is the strain induced in element number 3? Okay. See, if you can see this element number 3, it is between node 3 and 4. So node 4 will have displacement U4. Node 3 will have displacement U3. Okay. So I will write down this as U4 minus U3 upon what is the length of element number 3. I will write down this as L3. Right. So let's put that value. What is U4? What is U4? Huh? What is U4? You can check it here. What is the value of U4 here? It's a 0 because it is fixed. Minus U3. This we have calculated 0.3461 upon length of element number 3. Length of element number 3, you can see in the problem, it is 300 mm. Right? This is 300 mm. So just calculate its value. How much we are getting?
Minus 1.15 into 10 raised to minus 3.
Minus 1.15
1.
into 10 raised to minus 3. Is that okay? Is that okay to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Right. So this is what is called as a strain. We have calculated strain. Okay. So strain, it's basically change in length upon original length. How will determine change in length? Okay. It is a difference between the displacement at the nodes of that particular element. Okay. Change in length, it is determined by difference between the displacement at the respective nodes of the elements. Element number 1, it is between 1 and 2. So it is U2 minus U1. Element number 2, it is between 2 and 3. So it is U3 minus U2. Element number 3, it is between 3 and 4. So it is U4 minus U3. Divided by its respective length of the element. So this will give me the strain induced in the element. Now the next step will be to determine what is the stress. Okay. See, try to understand. Strain we are going to indicate by small e. Okay. Strain we are going to indicate by small e. Okay, stress we are going to indicate by sigma, right? Strain it is E, and stress we are going to indicate by sigma, right? So how we are going to calculate stress? Stress, okay, we need to determine the value of stress, right? How to calculate stress? So for calculating the value of stress, okay, we are going to use the basic equation, okay, that is modulus of elasticity E is given by stress by strain. Modulus of elasticity, it is given by stress by strain. Is that okay? So from this we can say that stress is equal to E into strain. Stress is equal to E into strain. See, in this problem they have separately asked strain and stress. That's why I'm doing this. If they directly ask the stress, I'm going to just neglect this step. I will directly calculate the stress. Okay, so now let's calculate stress induced in element number 1. Stress induced in element number 1 is given by, okay, modulus of elasticity of element number 1 multiplied by strain in element number 1. Now see, if you can see the problems clearly, what you can say, we have same value of E throughout the problem. Okay, that means what? We have both the bars which are made up of same material. So we need to take same value of E, that is 200. Okay, so I will write down these as 200, E as 200 into strain. This value I will write down 4.154 into 10 to the power minus 3. So just tell me the value. Stress induced in element number 1. Tell me this value, all of you.
0.8308.
Can you tell me the value? 200 multiplied by 4.154 into 10 to the power minus 3.
0.83.
How much?
0.83.
0.83, right? Now see, what will be the unit? Can you tell me what will be the unit? What unit I should write down for stress?
Newton per meter.
Huh? What will be the unit? Can you repeat? Can you beat aloud?
Newton per meter. Newton per meter.
See, it should be gigapascal. Try to understand. What will be the unit? It should be gigapascal. Because what is the unit for E? It's a gigapascal. E is in gigapascal, and this is unitless, right? So this unit will be in the gigapascal. Is that okay? Right? Now let's go for what is the stress induced in element number 2. This is for element number 2 we will go. So this is E2 multiplied by this. This is again E2, right? E2 and E2. So this is same for throughout the problem, that is 200. This is to be multiplied by strain, that is given by minus 1.847 into 10 to the power minus 3. So just do and let me know the answer. How much we are getting?
Minus 0.36.
0.3694.
How much? Minus, huh? Minus 0.36
36.
gigapascal, right? Right. Now we'll do it for stress induced in element number 3. Stress induced in element number 3. That is again E3 multiplied by this E3, right? So E, this is, we know that this is 200 multiplied by strain, that is minus
Minus
1.15 into 10 to the power minus 3. So let me know how much it is.
Minus
Minus
0.23.
Minus 0.23
Gigapascal.
gigapascal. So is that okay? Is that okay, all of you? So this is, see, so this is the end of the problem. Okay, so what initially we have done, see, we have finished with the displacement, then we have calculated reactions. See, displacement we have calculated reaction, then we have verified that condition of equilibrium is satisfied. Once it is satisfied, that means what? We are sure that we have correct values of displacements. After that, we have calculated strain, and after that, we have calculated the stress. Is that okay? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so see, in the last lecture, we have taken some part of this problem. Some part of this problem we have taken. Okay, and we have continued with this remaining part in this session. So what I will do now? Okay, I will now completely explain this problem now. Okay, it is already there. So those who have missed this, they can also will be in the position to understand it. And in the next lecture, we will start with one more problem. So it will take okay 1 hour to complete one problem. Now, if I start taking the another problem now, it will not be get complete. And same thing will happen that in the next lecture, I need to complete that half part. Okay, so let me start with this problem. Okay, what is been expected here is find the displacement. Try to understand. Find the displacement, stresses and strain in the element. So displacement, you will get it at the node, right? Node will displace. Try to understand. See here, what is very important is problems are you can solve as many number of problems as you want. Okay, but thing is like that, the basic or fundamentals should be very clear. So they're asking find a displacement. So node only will be get displaced. FEA will talk about nodes and elements. So displacement, you will get it at nodes. Each node will move. What is about stress? Stress will be generated within the element, right? Stress will be generated within the element. What is about strain? Obviously, strain will be generated within the element. See, when the strain will be generated, obviously stress will be generated. That is what happens, right? So in the element of this stepped bar, as shown in figure, take E is equal to 200 gigapascal. See, common value of E is given. That means for entire problem, the material is same. So single value of E we are going to utilize. So they have given this uniform cross section of 200 mm square, this uniform cross section of 400 mm square. Okay. So see, we have two cross sections. One it is of 250 mm square, second of 400 mm square. Okay. Now see, they have applied force 300 kilonewton at a distance 150 mm from this end. Okay, so this is 150 mm. See, this total is 300. This total is 300. But at a distance 150 mm from fixed support, they applied 300 kilonewton. Right. So this is the problem which is given. Now see, I need to start with the solution of the problem. So if I need to start with the solution of the problem, so very basic step in FEA is the discretization. The discretization means dividing the entire domain into number of subdomains. Okay, so there are certain criteria for discretization. First criteria is change in cross section. First criteria is change in cross section or change in material. You can work on. See, let's start with the first criteria, that is change in material. Let's say change in material. So this for this entire problem, material is same. So based on that criteria, we are not able to discretize it. Now let's move to the second criteria. Second criteria, that is change in cross section. So you can see for this particular part, okay, or for this particular length, cross section is different. For this particular length, cross section is different. So what I will do, I will consider this as one element, this as one element. So I will get only two elements based on change in cross section. Based on change in cross section, I am getting this as one element, this as one element. I will go to third criteria. Third criteria is the point where they applied the force. At that point, you form the node. So this is the point where they applied the force. I will bring this point down. So I will get this as a node. So initially, this was a single element. See, initially, this was a single element. This was a single element. But when I bring this point vertically down, this element gets split into two elements more, right? So as a result of this, I will get this element number 1, these are the element number 2, these are the element number 3. Try to understand. Based on change in material, I am not able to discretize because single value of E is given. Now, based on change in cross section, I am getting two elements. This is one element, this is one element. So this one element I will get, this one element I will get. And third criteria is the point where they applied the force. At that point, you form the node.
Sir.
I'll bring this point vertical down. So this becomes the node. So when this becomes the node, obviously the node is going to split the elements. Okay. So as a result
Sir.
of this, this entire element gets split into two elements more.
Sir,
So I will call this as element number 1. I will call this as the element number 2. I will call this as the element number 3. So as a result, I will get node 1, node 2,
Sir.
node 3, and node 4. Okay. Node 1, it connects element number 1 to fixed support. Node 2 will connect element number 1 and 2. Node 3 will connect element number 2 and 3. And node 4 will connect element number 3 to fixed support. Okay.
hello.
Now see.
Sir.
हाँ, yeah.
सर
Yeah.
सेकंड वाला जो है अपना, उसको भी तो अपन डिवाइड कर सकते हैं टू में.
कौन सा
नहीं,
ये वाला? This one?
हाँ ऊपर वाला 300 वाला है ना, जो 300 mm.
No. How you can divide? See, what I am telling. What is the first criteria? Change in material. So are you observing that for this particular section material is different? For this particular section material is different. Is it a case? Is that the case? See, what is given? E is 200 gigapascal. That means for entire problem, E is same. They haven't given like E1, E2. They have not given. They have given single value of E. That means for both the sections or for both the cross sections, the material is same. So based on change in material, we are not able to discretize. Now you go to second criteria. That is change in cross section. Try to understand. So for this particular section, okay, cross section is different. For this particular length, cross section is different. So this is one element and this is one element. So two elements only I'll get.
Yes, sir.
Now you
So
go to
कितने
third
मार्क्स का
criteria.
सम है ये?
हाँ.
कितने
Is
मार्क्स
there any
का
problem?
सम है?
So when you go to third criteria, what third criteria says, the point where I applied the load at that point you form the node. So see, this is the reason why I'm bringing this point down, because here they applied the force, here they have not applied the force. If they are going to apply the force, that point you need to bring it down, so that becomes the node. So obviously you will get one more additional limits. Is it okay now? Is that okay? You are asking to split this into two parts. I'm not able to do it.
Sir.
Right?
Yes.
See, you will be able to do it when you have this particular length of different material, this particular length of different material. If you see, if this is the case, you can do it into two parts. If this length it is of different material, this length it is of different material, then you can have two parts. Otherwise, if you have some force which is applied here, that point you bring it down, so this becomes nodes, and you will get two elements, right?
So
So now
10
see
mark
here.
का रहेगा ना ये?
हाँ?
10 mark का समझाया नहीं?
I see. I'm not getting the voice. Can you be loud?
कितने marks का है सम ये?
You see, it is for 10 marks. It is for 10 marks. It is for 10 marks, right?
Okay.
But see, for initial understanding, it will take time. It will take time. Initially, for understanding, it will take time. Okay. Once you practice it, it's
scholarship.
now see. So see, in order to start this matrices, or in order to start the solution of this particular problem, you should write down element stiffness matrix. This is the element stiffness matrix for a bar under axial load. Okay, E by L, 1 minus 1 minus 1, 1, U1, U2 is equal to F1, F2. This equation it is valid only when you have bar which is applied with axial load. Okay, this equation it is valid only we have bar which is applied with axial load. So this particular term it is called as element stiffness matrix. This is to be multiplied by displacement. It is given by force. So this is the case. Now this is element stiffness matrix. What is that? AE by L, 1 minus 1 minus 1, 1. So we need to write down it for separately for element number 1. So that I will do. Area of element number 1. What is the area of element number 1? You can see for element number 1 and for element number 2, cross section area is same. That is 250 mm square. So that is 250 into E. E it is same for all the elements because single value of E is given. That is 200. A E by L, length of element number 1, that is 250. You can see length of element number 1, that is 250. This term was coming to be 333.33. I multiplied inside a matrix, so I will get this matrix. Now see, this element number 1, it is between 1, 2. So I have written 1, 2, 1, 2 like that. Now go to element stiffness matrix of element number 2. Okay, it is same. See, if you can see this element number 2, what is the area of element number 2? It is same as element number 1, that is 250. 250 into, this is area into E. E it is same for entire problem, that is 200 upon length of element number 2. See, length of element number 2, it is 150. It is 150. You can see A E by L into 1 minus 1 minus 1, 1. So you will get same matrix as element number 1. But for element number 2, you have nodes 2 and 3. So I'll write down 2, 3, 2, 3, right? Next, you go for element stiffness matrix of element number 3. A, E by L. Now see, for element number 3, what is the area? 400. Area is 400 into E. E is same for entire problem, that is 200 by length of the element number 3. Length of the element number 3, it's 300. A, E by L, that is 300 into 1 minus 1 minus 1, 1. So what you will get? This term it is coming to be 266.66. You multiplied inside a matrix, so you will get this matrix. Now this element number 3, it is between 3, 4. So I'll write down 3, 4, 3, right? See, now all of you can see. If you can see the size of this matrix, what is the size of this matrix? It is 2 by 2. White size is 2 by 2. Okay, white size is 2 by 2. If you can see, for any element, there are 2 nodes. See, for any element, you can see, if you just see about element number 1, it is having 2 nodes, 1 and 2, and each node can move in one direction, right? There are 2 nodes and each node can move in one direction. So 2 into 1 is 2. So size is 2 by 2. Is that okay? Is that okay? Why the size is 2 by 2? Because every element it is having 2 nodes. Each element it is having 2 nodes, and each node can move in one direction. So 2 into 1, 2 into 1, it is 2. So size is 2 by 2. Right? So this is what we will get element stiffness matrix. Now we need to determine the size of the global stiffness matrix. So there are 4 nodes. 4 nodes and each node can move in one direction, right? There are 4 nodes and each node can move in one direction. So 4 into 1, that is 4. So size is 4 by 4. Is that okay? Is that okay, all of you? Let me know. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Now just come back to it. See, so what I've done, I've written 4 columns and 4 rows. Okay, I've written this matrices. Now see what I'm doing. What is the location here? 1, 1. Try to understand. Location is first row, first column. First row, first column. So at first row, first column, I'm going to put that 333.3. Try to understand. First row, first column, 333.33. Next, first row, second column, minus 33.3. Try to understand. First row, second column, minus 333.33. Then second row, first column. See, this is the term. Second row, first column, minus 333.33, right? Then second row, second column, 333.3. Try to understand. 333. Okay. So this is what is happening. See, it is 1, 2, 1, 2. Na? Basic idea, you just write down this starting element. That is 333.33. Side of that, it is minus 333.33. Here it is minus 333.33. Here it is 333.33. So this is finished with element number 1. Now you go with element number 2. Element number 2 you go, right? So for element number 2, you can see starting point is 2, 2. Second row, second column, right? So this is a second row, okay, and this is second column. So this element I'm writing 333.33. 333.33, right? Now you go to this element, second row, third column, second row, third column, minus 333.3, right? Minus 333. See this one, minus 333.3. Now you go to this element, third row, second column, third row, second column, minus 33.3. This is the element, right? Now you go here, third row, third column, 333.3. Is that okay? 333. So you can see these elements. Okay, these elements are for element number 1. Okay, then the elements or the which are indicated in pink color, they are for element number 2. Element number 2. Now you go for this matrix 3, 4, 3, 4. You just get the starting point. Third row, third column. So this is the third row. This is third column. So at third row, third column, you should have 266.66. That is what is written, right? Then at third row, fourth column, minus 266.66. That is what is reached. Then for fourth row, third column, minus 266.66. Minus 266.66. Fourth row, fourth column, 266.66. 266.6. Is that okay? So see, this is for element element stiffness matrix of element number 1. This is a stiffness matrix of element number 2, and this is a stiffness matrix of element number 3. The points where you don't have, or the cells where you don't have any elements, at those cells you need to write down as 0 value. 0 value. Right? 0 value. Right. Now see, element stiffness matrix, global stiffness matrix multiplied by displacement is given by force. This matrix I have written. Now I need to write down displacement. So there are 4 nodes, so you'll get 4 displacements. Similarly, you will get 4 forces. So 4 forces. Now see, if I bring you to this diagram, see U1 is fixed, it will not move. Now see, at node 2, you have applied the force in right hand direction. Okay, so what will happen? The node 2 will move in a right hand direction, in the right hand side. Node 2 will move at a right hand side. So 2 is the initial position and 2 dash is the final position. So distance between node 2 and 2 dash will give me the displacement at node 2. Is that okay? U1 is fixed. It can't move. You applied the force at node 2. So node 2 is going to occupy new position, that is 2 dash. And the distance between node 2 and new position 2 dash will give me the displacement at node 3. Similarly is going to happen with node 3. So this is node 3, its initial position 3, its final position is 3 dash. So difference between 3 and 3 dash will give me the displacement at node 3, that is U3. What is happening with the node 4? It is going to remain at its location, so its displacement is 0. Is that okay? Is that okay, all of you? Is that okay to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Right. So see, U1 is 0
Yes,
and
sir.
U4 is 0. First row, first column gets cancelled as U1 is 0. U4 is 0. So fourth row, fourth column gets cancelled as U4 is 0. Now you have 2 equations with 2 unknowns, and those unknowns are U2 and U3. So we want U2 and U3 provided that we should enter the value of F2 and F3. F2 is the force applied at node 2. Okay, force applied at node 2, it is 300 Newton we applied, and we applied on the right hand side. I am taking it as a plus. And at node 3, we haven't applied any force. You can see at node 3, we haven't applied any force. So it is 0. So that I entered as 0. So this equation, 2 equations and 2 unknowns have solved in a calculator. So I'm getting these values of U2 and U3. Now, the point where displacement is 0, that is at point number 1, and at point number 4, I will get reactions. So these are F1 and F4. How I'll get F1? First row, first column. How I'll get F4? Fourth row, fourth column. So this is how I'll get. Now, after that, I've got reactions. Once I got the reactions, I try to check the summation of forces as equal to 0. It is coming at 0. That means values of displacements are right. Now, once I have displacement, I calculated strain. Strain is given by change in length upon original length. Okay, so I got this strain in every element, and after that, I got this stress in every element. So stress, how we got the formula for stress? E is given by stress by strain. So stress is E into strain, right? Is that okay? All of you, is that okay?
Yes.
Is that okay to all of you? Have you understood this one?
Yes, sir.
Is that okay? This problem is clear? This problem is clear to all of you? Okay. So what we'll do, we'll finish with this problem. Okay, and we will stop here. And in the next lecture, we will start with one more problem. Okay, on structural field and bar under axial. Okay. So today we're going to stop. And in the next lecture, we're going to finish one more problem based on structural field and bar under axial load.